Ever wonder how so many people stay lean, energized, and pain-free over 40 without crash diets or crazy workouts? Well, today we're going to learn something, and it's called peptides. I'm joined by Michelle Zellner for her record-breaking third appearance on my show. Great guest. We're going to be diving into the world of bioactive peptides, what they are, how they work, and why that might be the missing piece in your longevity and weight loss journey. Plus, we'll break down a new line of AI-powered supplements that claim to boost energy, burn visceral fat, and cut recovery time, which would be nice. Stick around. You don't want to miss this one. Real quick, my SKOOL community is ever growing. Check out the link in the show notes. It's where I'm spending all my time with my audience. It's basically a community much like Facebook groups, but a lot more interactive. We have coffee chats. I'll be doing Q&As pretty soon, as well as having other like-minded over 40 people who are interested in, rapid weight loss, longevity, new tech trends coming out. So it's not just me in there. And get in while you can before I hit my first 100 people, because after that, I will be charging to new people only. So let's get on with the episode. Michelle, thanks once again. This is your third appearance on the Over 40 Fitness Hacks show. So it's a new record for guests. I love that you were able to make it.
Well, me as well. Brad, I've always loved your content. I love how your approach is very similar to my approach. I want to know what's out there. I want to experiment. I want to be a test subject so I can share what that's like. I want to do all the diagnostics. I listened to your episode with the guy who's talking about all the different testing, and I've done almost all of those because if you're not curious about how your own body works, like the thing that you literally are with every single second of your life.
Yeah.
Why would you not be curious about that? And I want to know and learn. It's fascinating, all the things that I've learned. And some of those things have helped me make decisions. You know?
And same here. I like to coin it, the phrase low-level biohacking. I'm not trying to get to that level like Dr. Sam Shea, who you were just referencing. I would love to be able to afford all those tests and have someone like him to help me. I don't have the desire to get educated to that level. We'll let the research scientists do that. And that's what we're here for, to make it a little bit more simple for my audience.
I agree. I always tell everybody, it doesn't matter how much you test. The foundational 5 never go away. The foundational 5, nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress management, community, and connection. If those things aren't pretty buttoned up, no amount of hacking is going to make you amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I put it in 6 pillars. You're missing supplementation, but you probably put that into diet, whatever you're missing from your diet. But
Yep.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about peptides, and then eventually, more specifically, the company that you were excited to talk about and some of their research, their bioactive peptides. I knew peptides exist. I see it all on social media, but I just knew nothing about it. I talked to my dad, who's a retired medical doctor. Although he's not into longevity and biohacking, he still has at least a simple science that I need for my brain to grasp it. And then I told you I went down ChatGPT just to ask all these crazy questions that get me all updated. So before we get into the company, like, what are peptides?
People think peptides are this new thing. Peptides have been around literally since the dawn of creation, because peptides are simply a chain of amino acids. So every single living thing on the planet is made up of peptides, right? So it was either 8th grade or maybe freshman science class. I clearly remember like the very first line of a chapter. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. 1 to 49 amino acids together is a peptide. 50 or more amino acids together is a protein. It's part of our messaging system, because every living thing requires messages to communicate and tell its systems what to do. There are roughly 17 billion peptides found in nature. Also, we create peptides, like our bodies produce peptides. Identified so far, roughly 7,000 unique peptides that our human bodies create. I think of peptides in our bodies as the activator. It's the catalyst that makes the thing do what the thing needs to do.
So far today, like, dumb it down even further. Amino acids is the bare bottom, right? And eating food, protein specifically, is how we get there. So our body digests protein as a whole down to the bare bones amino acids. Kind of in the middle is, peptides. So the body breaks the protein down. Sometimes it'll be in the peptide form, and then eventually amino acids. Peptides have specific signaling properties. Some are used for structural and system uses, but some signal the things you see in social media, like energy, sex, building bigger muscle and having better sleep, so all that stuff. And then it gets broken down to amino, which have different benefits, but mostly just building blocks to repair our body. So that's kind of like the most simplistic view on it. I'm like, okay, so after talking with ChatGPT specifically, I finally came to the conclusion, like, just something simple. I'm taking glutathione. That's a peptide. And why do I take glutathione? Because as we're aging, our body doesn't give us the amount that we need, because our bodies only caring about survival. I care about staying energetic, having a healthy liver, being able to go in the gym to sustain a body that I can have that in my 20s. So hopefully I last to my hundreds, right? But that's not how our archaic design body is designed for. How do we get these peptides to do these things? From what I'm discovering, it's basically you put in a compound like a peptide like glutathione, and the problem is that your body doesn't care what you're trying to use it for. It uses what it wants. So it will most likely break that glutathione molecule down to amino acids, use what it needs, and whatever's left, maybe it'll recreate some glutathione. So that's kind of where I left off with ChatGPT. And I know there's all these popular peptides for specific things like, sleep, weight management, hormones, and that kind of stuff. So that's where I'm at right now in my knowledge of peptides. Where do you want to go from there?
It's obviously incredibly complex. I am not going to pretend that I know everything there is to know about peptides. I would venture to say most people don't. Even people who are pretty well versed, it's incredibly complex. But to your point, the most known peptide that people probably don't even know it's a peptide is insulin.
Yeah.
Insulin is a peptide, right? Its function is to help us get glucose out of the bloodstream into your cells so you can use it, and to store some as energy reserves for later. That's a peptide. People who become insulin dependent, it's a therapeutic peptide for them because they have to inject insulin into their bodies because their pancreas is no longer producing it. Maybe it's type 1 autoimmune diabetes. Maybe it's type 2 diabetes where their pancreas is kaput and doesn't create insulin anymore. But we need insulin. So it's a therapeutic peptide. That's really where the game has changed. We have this class of therapeutic peptides, right? The injectables.
Mhm.
Those are all synthetic. They're all therapeutic. You have to inject them because they cannot withstand the digestive tract. Now we have this whole new landscape of bioactive peptides. Right? I mentioned 17 billion unique combinations of amino acids in nature called peptides. This company that I'm going to talk about has partnered with a company who's been doing this research for over 10 years. So again, this is not new. I know it's new to us. This is not new. With AI is changing everything, right? Decades to find a peptide in nature, see which one in our body it sort of matches with, and then get it right formula and do the right thing. Well, now AI can do that in minutes.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of it. And the term bioactive peptides basically just means of all those thousands of peptides, a lot of those are meant for building blocks, but specifically the signaling ones that do the things we're looking for. That's why we coined the phrase bioactive peptides, right? To take care of a singular issue, whether it be
biologically active. They have a biological function.
Now we know bioactive peptides are the ones to take care of our problems. We're not going to talk about that today. God, if we could fix our bodies to where we don't even need these supplements, I don't even know if you can do it with diet because we have genetics in play, right? So what peptides will help me with what I'm lacking? And, that's why we're going after these bioactive peptides. Then the problem that I'm seeing is the delivery system. Like you said, it can't last the digestive tract, some of them for whatever reason. So there's science behind different caps and caplets. Then they discovered, okay, let's throw it into the blood. And in the case of glutathione, I had a guest on my show, he talked about that not even being great because the body will still break it down to amino acids, won't use it as glutathione. And so he ended up using a transdermal patch through the skin, which there's other problems with the skin not absorbing certain things, but his proprietary blend, that's a different story. You can listen to that episode. And then there's liposomal, where they put a fat bubble protection layer over supplements, including bioactive peptides, to help make it down far enough to where it doesn't get broken down and your body has the best chance of using it as a peptide and not breaking it down to aminos. As far as make wellness, theirs is more in powder form or capsules, right?
Well, let me circle back to your point of, do we need them? You don't need anything. Do you want to optimize your well-being? Any supplement of any kind, you don't need a supplement, but if you want to be the healthiest, happiest, highest functioning version of you, you probably need supplements.
Yeah.
Because there is no way, even through the best diet and the best fitness routine and all the best everything, that with the aging process, there is no way your body's going to continue to keep up. So supplementation becomes more important, probably the older you get. But also it just depends on, do you want to just be okay or do you want to be the best you can be? I, a long time ago, decided I want to be the best I can be because we have limited time here.
Yeah.
And I am going to take advantage of this incredible time we're living in with the advances of science and technology and all the things that we have available. And I'm going to be a guinea pig on myself and give things a try. And if I think it's worth the investment that I'm making, why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah. And that's the theory of lifespan versus health span. Being healthy as you age, maybe you only make it to 100, but the greatest life ever versus shooting for the stars for, 120 or 180 like Dave Asprey's trying to get, but you're freaking miserable and there's no fun. And then on top of that is my thing of having great mental well-being, which means that sometimes things like alcohol, the worst foods, and very low moderation, what I get from those far exceeds the toxic level and what I'm willing to pull down my age gap on. So that's for each person to decide on their own, but that's kind of my thinking about it.
It's got to be that holistic approach, right? And
Yeah.
everybody's different. Everybody has different priorities and what they're willing to do and not do, give up and not give up. I'm like, I'm going to continue to eat cake and ice cream and pizza and cookies. Not every day, not as much as I probably would really like to, but I understand the consequences of doing that. And I don't really like those. And so it does come down to making choices and deciding, what is the level of commitment that you have to your overall well-being. Supplementation is a big one, but a problem with supplementation is it's kind of like, okay, we're just going to dump it in and hope it goes where it needs to go. That's your traditional supplement, right? Your antioxidants. Like 25 years ago, antioxidants were like, oh, this voodoo stuff, right? Antioxidants are run of the mill these days. Everybody knows antioxidants are super beneficial. Well, so now we're entering, years ago, collagen supplements became a huge thing, and creatine. Oh, you should take creatine, and oh, you need this, you need all these things. Are all those things beneficial? Of course they are, because as the body ages, it loses its capacity to operate at the optimal level. That's just a natural function of aging, even if you're living the healthy lifestyle. And so I think about my own personal experience, the girl who does all the right things. I don't feel like I look and feel the way I should for all the dedication I do to the right things. Well, that's because my body is not optimized, right? There are genetics that plays a huge role in it. Going back to the conversation about I like to do the testing and see what's going on with me, I did the Function Health 101 metabolic markers, and one of the things they test is leptin. Leptin is your hunger hormone, the satiety hormone, the one that tells you you're not hungry. Ask anybody who knows me, I am that girl who was always hungry, no matter what. I figured it out years ago. This is a big part of my challenge growing up, always hungry and craving sugar, and that leads to a whole bunch of stuff. We were taught the wrong things when it comes to nutrition. Part of that was my very unhealthy relationship with food. All of that definitely factored in. But even since I have been very, very dialed in with PFF, protein, fat, fiber, plenty of protein. I mean, don't you love it, Brad, that everyone's like, oh, prioritize protein.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, cool. We've been saying that for 20 years.
Yeah.
But yes, good idea. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I am still that girl who is always hungry. My leptin levels, do you know anything about leptin and how levels should be? So clinically deficient is less than 4.5. Validation that I'm not just like, oh, Michelle, you just have no discipline. I showed that to the lead scientist at Make Wellness, and he was like, you should be morbidly obese based on this leptin level, because this is the level where people who can't not eat.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have no idea how hard I work.
If it wasn't for your mindset and psychology, that's the only way, but it's a constant, unnecessary battle, it seems like.
Exactly. That other people don't have, right?
Yeah.
So this is, I think, important for people to appreciate. It might be easy for you to say, well, just moderate your portions. Great. You probably have a really nice, healthy level of leptin.
I can fast forever. I don't need to eat at all.
Right.
So my score might be high on that leptin. Who knows?
Right. And so that's why I think using some of those diagnostics it also can just make me like think, okay, Michelle, you're not crazy, right? You're not just like, you have no discipline, you have no willpower. No, it's a real chemical thing going on. So to your point, yeah, there are some tools that we can use that can help my body work maybe a little easier for me.
Yeah.
To actually give me the results of all of the hard work that I put in, which, at 52, I would really like that.
Absolutely.
I've been doing hard work for the better part of 20 years. I got involved with this company back in August. A friend put a post on Facebook about this revolutionary new product being launched. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in the industry, you got to know what it is so that people ask you about it. You can speak intelligently about it. So I asked her, what is it? Send me the info. And I took one look at it and I was like, really? This is new.
Yeah.
This is revolution. There is nothing. This is brand new. And the company was very transparent, right? Very inviting. You can hop into any of their product calls, their research calls, accessibility to like the lead researchers, and learned all about it. And I hopped on the first call and Dr. Alan Jones said one thing that immediately I was like, sign me up. He said, skeletal muscle is your number one, most important, most metabolically active organ on your body. And I was like, Yep.
Yep. Already knew that.
Been saying that for 20 years. Awesome. Let's do this. What they've been doing for these last 10 years in their research, how they've been very thoughtful in their formulas of not just the peptides themselves that they are sourcing from nature, but how they're combining it in certain combinations with other peptides, with other active ingredients, with other support ingredients, as well as the proprietary matrix that they have developed to be able to withstand the GI tract. So these are targeting exactly the systems that we want them to target. They launched with their first 6 products. 4 of them are peptide-based. 2 of them are not, but they are support products that enhance and optimize the benefit of some of the other products, but they also have incredible benefit just by themselves. I jumped on board immediately. This is a direct sales thing, which Brad, in almost 30 years of doing this, I have been approached dozens of times to align or affiliate or pitch. And I said no every single time.
I don't mind it that the company uses that method to sell it. You do whatever you want, results and anecdotals, and then test it for myself.
Right. I just personally never found anything that I wanted to put my name to. Never anything that was like, yeah, no. This is exactly what I've been doing for 30 years, trying to help people be the best versions of them that they can be. The mission of this company is 100% aligned with the mission that I've had for almost 30 years, to see the quality of what they put together and that this truly is a whole different elevation game. It's like going from a rotary phone to a smartphone. There's no comparison. It was very easy for me to say yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did a soft launch in November. They officially launched in March, but products have been available now for the better part of 7 or 8 months to those of us who got on board right away. If I could get everyone on board with FIT, the world would be such a healthier, happier place. That is the one that helps accelerate protein synthesis, slow down muscle protein breakdown, active recovery, the repair process, works on cognitive health, gives you a little boost of energy, accelerates metabolism. I mean, it's amazing. And I tell you, when I first started taking, I'm like, okay, is this placebo effect? And again, I'm honest, like, I'm not going to BS. I'm not going to pretend something's working if it's, I'm not going to do that to me. I'm not going to do that to other people. It's legit.
Yeah.
Now, again, not everybody works in the same way for everyone. I have never been sore since I started taking this. And I'm the girl that, like, if I don't feel sore, I don't feel like I worked out. So the first few times I'm like, I know I killed it in the gym. And I was a little pissed off that I wasn't sore. Wow. Active recovery accelerates recovery. When you're not sore, you feel better, you do more. It's that domino effect of all of that. So, I mean, that's just me and one example. And there's plenty of others from the other ones. But
like going back to the science, if we could all get tested like you did to find out the leptin deficiency, great. A lot of us can't afford those tests. You kind of have to know that you have an issue with something. Go with that, at least starting out. So now we're in the peptide world. As far as what's out there now, the delivery systems we just talked about, now we're moving on to Make Wellness, the one you found specifically. They're using this proprietary matrix, mostly plant, which, okay, they're going that route, not animal-based products because of allergens and all that kind of stuff, even though it seems like animals, they have cons, but there's also pros.
So one of their products has whey peptide isolates as their base. They're energized. All the other ones, and again, it's not protein, it's the peptides. So plant or animal doesn't matter because it's the specific thing needed for the system.
Yeah.
And they figured out, okay, like the fava bean, like that's where some of their peptides come from. Somebody asked me, well, why can't I just eat fava beans? Well, you can.
But there's more that goes into it.
You're not going to get the specific concentration of the peptides from the fava beans to activate your system to do what the system wants to do.
Knowing that there's a proprietary delivery system run by AI, and that's the company's research. So other than that, then it's just trying it out for yourself. Because like I mentioned, there's all these other liposomal ones and other delivery methods, injections, like you mentioned. Okay, so Make Wellness has their own proprietary AI driven. I love that. They're using plant sources mostly, a little bit of whey. And then, they've got their 5 or 6 products that have peptides specific to things we all care about, right? Like hunger, metabolism, getting our muscle bigger, probably sex or something is in there, hormonal stuff.
Not yet, but I guarantee that's
coming.
They have one coming out for sleep.
So like you mentioned, there's hundreds of thousands of them that all do different stuff, but there's only so much time in this world. Let's pick the problems that we have. So, okay, now we have our group of the most problems solved in 5 or 6 things, and probably all the other companies are doing the same thing. That's great. We got a proprietary matrix of how it's delivered, and now it's down to anecdotals and testimonials. So the one I looked at on your website, lean, anything for the aesthetic looks, I'm killing it on all other sectors of sleep, hormonal functions, as far as sex drive, and I'm happy, I have no depression, all this stuff. Probably fit too. So being more animalistic in the gym and then also getting the benefits from the higher metabolism with those two products. So let's now go into some of the testimonials. I don't know if you've tried other products out there, peptide products versus Make Wellness, but why don't you go into some of these that you've seen so far or tried before?
Yeah. So I'll tell you my own specific testimonials. Prior to starting these products, I wanted to try semaglutide because I wanted to know what it felt like to not be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I've never like, and so I got some injectable semaglutide and it was amazing. Yeah, I wasn't hungry. But that's a problem because you actually need to eat. And this is one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, with injectable semaglutides is people are malnourished. I know we all want to lose weight, look a certain way, lose weight for health reasons. Food is your nutrition. Food is your disease fighters. It's how you're going to maintain your muscle mass. I wasn't hungry. That was awesome. I'm still going to eat because I know I need to eat. Food is fuel. It's not just about my weight. It shut down the food noise, right? All those things. I was like, that's amazing. I've never like, oh, I forgot to eat. No, I'm like, oh, don't even care about food. It's pretty phenomenal. Not gonna lie. I get why people are like, wow, this is incredible. It can come at a huge cost and a consequence to being malnourished and losing muscle mass. I had something to compare that to. Lean specifically helps to accelerate visceral fat loss, which is the stuff that causes the problems, right? Not the aesthetic stuff, but the stuff that causes fatty heart, fatty liver.
Yeah, around the organs.
Boost metabolism. It is designed to regulate your hunger hormones. I have noticed that I don't need that extra snack. I actually just redid my lab pan. I was hoping to get my results before we have this conversation. When I see what my leptin levels are after being on lean for 7 months, I will report back to you to see if they've elevated a little bit. I'm very curious about that. Personally, I've seen that. I have lost 12 pounds and my body fat is 19%. So probably lost about 4% body fat. Nothing has changed other than I'm not as hungry, not eating as much, and I can work harder in the gym because I have more strength and stamina to work harder in the gym.
Do you think that's a combo between the fit and the lean or just the lean?
Yes, fit and lean together.
The combo, okay.
Yeah. My mom is on fit, 80 years old. Everybody should be on fit because skeletal muscle, if you don't use it, you lose it. In fact, I'd say people who are inactive probably need fit more than anybody. People who don't get enough protein in their diets would really benefit from fit because it helps absorb the protein that you're actually putting in. So you get maximum benefit from the amount you're putting in, not having to overload just to get the amount that you need, right?
Yeah.
I've had people with the energized and the focused and the calm. There's testimonials in a Facebook page where their teenagers are off of their ADD medication. They're off of their anxiety medication. I just had a woman who's in her 60s and she just called me and said, Michelle, I feel like I'm living life again. I haven't been living life. I've just come home tired, zone out on my phone, beat myself up for not going for a walk, have a glass of wine and go to bed.
Yeah.
And she's like, the cobwebs are gone. I have energy. I want to go out for a walk. I want to come home and do things. I'm a nicer person. The woman that was basically my mentor when I started personal training years ago, very skeptical. I don't need that. I'm healthy. And then she saw me. She's like, all right, girl, what are you doing? Yeah. She's like, all right, give me a try. Give it a try.
That's all it is about all this stuff. Try. Do what works for you.
Exactly.
And you find the winners and you find the losers.
She's like, there is a difference between feeling good and feeling freaking amazing. I'm like, right? And then I have had people who are like, I just didn't see the result. I didn't feel the way I thought it would feel. Whether they were feeling different or not, they didn't feel the way they thought they should feel.
Yeah, the exact outcome they're looking for.
That's what I tell people. 90 days. Just give it 90 days. Nothing's going to happen overnight. Rarely is it going to happen in 30 days. For some things, you are going to see and feel an immediate benefit. For some, you won't. I also know that you're not always going to feel like you get an oil change on your car. You don't know you got an oil change. Car doesn't operate any differently, but you still get your oil changes because if you don't, you're going to have a problem. So there's some things that I don't feel differently, but I know it is doing good things for me and for my future self. So if I'm willing to invest in it because I understand the science and I believe in what these things do, and I'm doing the foundational 5, none of this is just like, okay, now go.
Take care of your core, your basics.
Then it's worth that investment to me. And that's how I look at it. If it's within my budget and I see the value in it, and why wouldn't I do it?
For me specifically, trying glutathione, I kind of got on that kick for the last 6 months. And 2 different products. I had them both on my podcast. And one of them was a spray on the skin. One of the cool things is tracking it with a tracker. And the main benefit that I'm looking for is, the thermogenesis, how well is your body using energy? I can track that on calorie expenditure and how much it's cranking out. I'm sure there's other benefits of glutathione, like helping with your liver and all that, but I can't really gauge on which one. So specifically staying on, calorie expenditure, the first product spraying on the skin seemed to elevate my levels quicker. Then I stopped and I started using the transdermal patches, which is supposed to boost your natural ability to produce a glutathione. They even said it takes longer. And sure enough, it took like 2 months before it even started climbing. And now I'm hitting new records that were better than the first one. So, thank God this product is cheaper than the first one I mentioned. So, it's just a little biohacking of one specific thing. Does Make Wellness have anything for glutathione specifically, or do they add it into one of the other matrices right now?
I don't believe that's an ingredient. All of the ingredients are clearly spelled out on the website. And if they're not, anyone can reach out to me and get access to all of that. I don't believe glutathione is in there, but
Probably will be eventually.
It could be in the proprietary blend. I don't know. I don't think so. But there are multiple ways to get to a similar result. And I think that's also important for people to remember. So personally, like one of the reasons I love Fit, I eliminated my collagen supplement, because Fit helps your body continue to produce collagen at a level that it should. The reason we need a collagen supplement is because as we age, you stop producing. If my body can just activate to be optimal and continue producing it, then I don't need to supplement. So I'm saving that money. I'm saving the 70 calories a day on it. Fine. Because I can use this other stuff that also has additional benefits in other ways. Like Fit has a way of supporting your NAD plus levels, which is also a big energy and anti-aging coenzyme factor. And so there's a lot of nuance to all of it. And I know so many people want to see this specific result, and I get it. But I'd say commit to 90 days. And I've had this happen. People did it and they're like, I don't think it was worth it. And then they stop it and they're like, oh, okay, I can tell.
Yeah, that's another way of checking out something.
Yes.
Well, as far as you got those two, Fit, Lean, what are the rest of them that are currently available through Make Wellness?
So Energized, I am surprised at how much I love it. I'm energetic. It's a mood and motivation booster. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of gray days here in Colorado, and I spent a lot of time in Wisconsin this winter. I tell you what, there was pep in my step and still motivation with Energized. And so I become a huge fan of that. And then Focused is exactly what it says. Helps me focus. When I have a day, when I have 7, 8 back-to-back wellness trainings, Energized and Focused, 100%. Usually by training 5 or 6, my words are a little like, did I say that? Or what? No, this is like boom, boom, boom. Energized and Focused for when you travel, especially around time zones, long haul ones. They can help get you right on track with your energy and your mental clarity and all the things. Hydrated and Calm are 2 of the support products. They don't have peptides in them. I love Hydrated. If everybody on the planet could consume Hydrated, I got my whole family on it. It is cellular, the balance of intracellular and extracellular hydration. I've done all the ones, Element, Red Relight, hands down.
So I had to do a part 2 of this recording because Zoom kicked us off while I was talking to Michelle due to its 40-minute limit if you're not on the pro plan. Jumping back on to another meeting with her, I forgot to hit record. I wanted to do this video because the interview was fresh in my mind. We ended that first part of the meeting with her talking about the hydration supplement and doing all the different things like hydrogen water, structured water, different electrolyte companies. She's never felt as hydrated and proven that hydration through using one of her scales that can see how much fat you have, your bone density, your water weight, and seeing the benefits through those kind of trackers. So very interesting to try that out. We basically wrapped up the conversation talking about when you're doing this type of self-biohacking and you only have so much in your budget to look at your supplements. And if you're interested in trying something new, trying like one thing out first, using it for what she said on this product, 90 days to really see it. I also believe in that because I tried a glutathione product that wasn't doing much through the transdermal patches. And it took 90 days to really see the benefits, which I track on here for caloric expenditure. And it was outperforming every other glutathione supplement that I had taken before, which showed progress, week 1. So that's telling you that sometimes you need to go a little longer from what you're told by the company to see the benefits. And then I talked with Michelle about, I take all these different supplements, vitamins. I really only take that glutathione, but I'm interested in all these things. And I mentioned how I went down a ChatGPT rabbit hole of this is everything I'm doing as far as my diet, my workouts, all my longevity protocols, things I'm tracking like on the Whoop. Here's my successes, my HRV scores, all these things. I wanted it to grade me on it. Out of all the core things that it put out, that I had nothing going on to help my NAD levels, which were, tied with longevity, getting rid of zombie cells more efficiently than just taking antioxidants, protecting your DNA. And I mentioned to Michelle, we all know about shortening of telomeres, and that's kind of the true sign of aging. When your telomeres are shortened to the point where they can't keep creating new cells, that's the process of dying, right? Besides, any other things that happen with organs or throughout your life. So one of her products with Make Wellness had a NAD booster in it, which is what I'm currently in the market for. Besides talking to experts, enthusiasts, and fitness professionals in the industry, I like trying stuff out for 30 days or whatever they tell me to be able to see results. And the best part is I already have a supplement budget going on. If I can take something new that gives me more benefits or synergistically works better, then I'll just cut those supplements and there's my money. I didn't have to come up with new money to try out the new product. And if I don't feel good on those, I'll either go back or I'll, cut it so my budget stays low and waiting for something better. So, if you have a budget of $50, $100, $150, and you can kind of work with that system to see what's important to you. So I basically just referenced ChatGPT because I need to do something according to all the biohackers out there with my NAD levels and my DNA protection that I'm currently not doing now. So that's the gist of what we were talking about for just 15 minutes. So I wanted to summarize that and then end with, as always, I put in all of my guest links in the show notes. So you can check out Michelle on her website, betterbeings.net. You can also reach out to her to send any specific research or videos pertaining to a specific product. If you're interested in any of the Make Wellness products, you don't have to be bombarded with all the science, just the ones that pertain to what you're interested in. And I think that's awesome. And then other than that, she basically said tracking is a great way to prove some of the stuff. And she mentioned a $20 Renpho scale that she completely thinks the world of, despite being a cheaper product and versus doing like DEXA scans or the in-body, full body scans. She's done all those things. And that Renpho $20 product has shown the exact same results of what she got on those more expensive tests. So, hey, $20 worth the investment. I'll try it for myself. And I finished by telling Michelle that out of all the ones that she had that I wanted to try was more of the lean, because I feel all my fit markers and motivation to work out and all that are all taken care of. I'd rather have a little bit more results in the lean and then maybe try the fit after that and make my decision after that. So I'll keep everything in the show notes. Thanks for listening. And as always, if you want to check out some of the other things we talk about in my free SKOOL community, I have a link in the show notes for that. And we'll most definitely be talking more about peptides, NAD, all these longevity markers, along with normal weight loss, biohacking tips in my SKOOL group if you just want to have a little bit more access to me. So other than that, have a great one, and I'll check you on the next one.